And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Greetings and welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what I provide you in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It brings you to a map of the continental U.S. with Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left and tabs for the territories. You point and click anywhere on this map. It'll give you a very specific forecast for any location in the nation, including important watches, advisories, and warnings. And a quick check of the map here in the lower 48, we have heat advisories, southern Florida, as well as up through the lower Mississippi Valley, southern Central Plains, a severe thunderstorm watch, northeast Colorado into parts of Nebraska and northwest Kansas. Red flag warnings for critical fire weather conditions across Idaho into southeast Oregon. So some active weather there, but not as much as it could be for this time of year. We are anticipating drier and warmer weather across the mainland and eventually toward the panhandle this mid and late week. Ridge of high pressure will be building northward out of the Gulf and bringing clearer skies and some warmer temperatures Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. We are in the midst, though, of a progressive weather pattern where Bering Sea and North Pacific lows follow in succession either every day or other couple of days. And this is all part of the energy balance in the atmosphere. Once we get into late summer, early fall, it's also the peak season of the hurricane season because from these tropical, subtropical regions, the oceans have a tremendous amount of energy from the heating that has occurred over the last few months, and it has to be dissipated and distributed. So these systems, at least in the northern hemisphere, want to track northward and help to do that. Well, sometimes it can bring us some stronger areas of low pressure in the late summer and fall. And we will have a stronger low, a west coast system that'll be moving along into the west coast late Wednesday night, Thursday into Friday. And there'll even be another one following that on Saturday, but it will have with it some strong winds, gale force winds, perhaps some gusts to storm force, high surf, with some moderate to heavy rainfall. A few areas could pick up more than an inch to near 2 inches of rain, especially where you may have some enhancement due to any type of mountains or elevation rises there where the wind can help lift that moisture up and act as a natural barrier that enhances the lift. So looking at Kivalina, we have a high surf advisory in effect. You can see that rough surf there along the northwest Arctic coast, temperature 48 degrees. Golovin, low clouds and fog along the north side of Norton Sound, 50 degrees. And this area here, we'll see some stronger southwest winds, south-southwest winds as we go through Thursday and Friday, as low pressure will be tracking right between Golovin and Nome early Friday morning in the pre-dawn hours, like around 4 a.m. So looking at some of the FAA webcams, if we take a look at the central interior around the Alaska Range, beautiful shot there at Summit, partly cloudy, 53. Tomorrow will be even a warmer day. Many areas getting temperatures back up into the 60s with partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. Haines, there's still a few scattered light showers, temperatures there at 59. And a quick check of looking at what we have for our hazardous weather. We have some special weather statements. At this point, no watches, warnings, or advisories, but we still have some higher water levels expected on the Tanana River this week. It'll be at bank full, but will stay below minor flood stage, but just be aware of that if you're recreating there in the central interior. And then up along the northwest coast from Point Lay down through Point Hope to Kivalina, just northwest of Kotzebue, there is a high surf advisory through 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning, because of those stronger winds creating that high surf. And then we have this area, the west coast, and it'll actually include areas around Kuskokwim Bay. Special weather statement for this stronger Bering Sea storm that'll be moving in there very late Wednesday night, especially Thursday through Friday. We expect some gale force winds in these areas with perhaps a few gusts up around storm force, especially where you have these various points. This could lead to higher surf and maybe a little bit of minor coastal flooding potentially. And then just a large rain shield, anywhere from a half to 1 inch rainfall amounts will be common along the west coast here, including some locally higher amounts that could go as high as 1.5 inches or 2 inches as a result of any terrain enhancement with those stronger winds. So let's look at fire danger. Well, it hasn't been a significant concern recently because of just the dreary, cooler, wet weather we've seen over the weekend. But it's going to try to creep back upwards. We have this ridge of high pressure creating the clearer skies and drying, so we do expect fire danger to get back up higher here in the upper Tanana Valley come Wednesday afternoon, and that trend should continue into Thursday and Friday because this area will stay on the drier side with warmer temperatures, some areas getting back up above 70, and then you're going to have increasing winds as that Thursday, Friday system pushes inland later this week. We are going to have stronger winds across the Alaska Range and Brooks Range, so those winds with low humidity and warmer temperatures will also tend to enhance the fire danger. Quick check of the satellite imagery this afternoon, just a weak remnant low from the system that came through south central yesterday and then what was left of a weekend system. So there's still a few light showers scattered about areas, especially the northern half, the Panhandle and around Yakutat. Back to the west, we have this frontal boundary coming out of eastern Russia that's just going to stall out here across the northwest mainland down to about St. Lawrence Island and then back toward the Kamchatka coast. And then out here we have across the Aleutians, this is the next weather maker, the low that's going to be pushing through there later tonight and tomorrow. So at this time, late this afternoon, ridge of high pressure south of the Gulf with the ridge axis nudging up into the Alaska Peninsula. So it is providing some clearing in this area and sunshine. And that will nudge and build further northward across south central, central, and eastern mainland on Wednesday into Thursday. And then that ridge will nudge eastward over the Panhandle. So if you're in the Panhandle, you're going to see drier conditions, clearer skies, and warmer temperatures here, especially by Thursday and Friday. As we get to the west, this system's going to get better organized out there in the western Aleutians. Come late tonight, we'll have a low center just to the south of the western and central Aleutians. We have a stalled out frontal boundary here from the northwest, just inland of the northwest coast through the Bering Strait. And then by the time we get into Wednesday afternoon, that front still semi-stationary, but this low is going to start to deepen and we'll be getting down at least into the 980s millibars. It's going to have some gale force winds around it with perhaps a few areas of storm force gust, especially when you look at some of the points here along the southwest coast. You could have some stronger wind gusts as a result. But as the system works its way northeastward, it's going to take a track up between Nunavik Island and St. Matthew by early Thursday morning and then across right between Nome and Golovin early on Friday morning. Meanwhile, the ridge builds northward. There could be some patchy fog in areas of the interior as a result of the wet conditions of the past week and a half or so. With clear skies tonight and that the case, it's not uncommon to get some patchy fog late summer, early fall. And then come Thursday, here's that low located just west, just on the west side of Nunavik Island there, and it will continue tracking northeastward into early Friday morning. Ahead of it, pretty healthy push of warmer air coming up through Kodiak Island on the west side of the Gulf, where conditions stay drier. Thursday's temperatures will be rather warm. There'll be some rain, though, pulling through late Thursday night into Friday across south central areas. So this is going to be a breezy and wet system again. Taking a look at the temperatures tonight, lows could be a few 40s, Juneau 46, 48 Petersburg. Out to the west here in the Copper River Basin, 35 with some patchy frost in some of the normally cold spots, not out of the question. Otherwise, 40s pretty common. Daytime highs with the sunshine, though, we're looking at mid-upper 60s, a few spots, few of the normally warm spots could even hit 70. So it'll be a fine afternoon. Wednesday's going to be probably one of the best weather days of South Central. Might squeak out one more for Thursday. And then here in the Panhandle, as that ridge comes eastward, you're going to see your temperatures warm into Thursday as well. So temperatures by Wednesday afternoon well into the 60s, could flirt with 70. Lows not quite as cool Thursday morning there in the Copper River Basin. We're going to start to see clouds increasing from the southwest, whereas in the Panhandle, a few areas getting down into the 40s. And the Panhandle could see some temperatures, lower 70s. I wouldn't rule out a 70-degree reading here in the southern part of the Panhandle, or like up here around Haines or Skagway, could could just break 70 degrees, but still generally fairly dry conditions continuing across this area, but you're going to have increasing moisture and wind coming up from the southwest with that west coast storm. The interior, coolest readings will be along the spine of the Brooks Range in through areas of the North Slope and along the northwest Arctic coast, upper 30s for lows, but still generally above freezing. Daytime highs, lots of sunshine across here, the Tanana and Yukon, middle upper Yukon valleys, 60s, maybe an isolated 70-degree reading. Cooler, cloudy, breezier conditions along the northwest Arctic coast, west side of the Seward Peninsula, temperatures generally staying in the 40s. And then Thursday morning, we still expect temperatures to stay above freezing. With that western storm coming in, you're going to have a shield of rain pushing inland across the west coast into the western interior. And look at this, Thursday afternoon, we're going to have some 70s popping back up, Fairbanks on over toward Yukon Flats and the Alcan border. And that, as a result, will increase the fire danger by Thursday afternoon in the Yukon Flats and upper Tanana Valley. Meanwhile, pretty good shield of rain will be marching across the west side, western half of the mainland, and you're going to have increasing winds later Thursday into Friday across the Alaska Range and the Brooks Range as that system penetrates inland. For the southwest coast tonight and interior, lows in the 40s, generally mid-40s. Upper 40s to maybe near 50 at Dutch Harbor Wednesday morning. And then for Wednesday afternoon, some temperatures getting back up around and a bit above 60 degrees here along and just on the west side of the Alaska Range. Clouds will be increasing across this region. Pribilov Islands will be seeing rain beginning to break out as that low tracks northeastward, and that'll happen later Wednesday afternoon, especially by Wednesday evening and overnight. Thursday morning lows come up a bit to around 50 along the southwest coast, 51 there at Bethel, in the 50s along the Alaska Peninsula and Dutch Harbor, because there's a little swath of warmer air. Could be around 60 degrees, Chicknick back down toward even Cold Bay as a result of this little wedge of warmer air creeping northeastward ahead of this system. Otherwise, 50s with rain and breezy conditions across the southwest. And here's the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Again, not much change. It's been pretty consistent here this month and for, quite frankly, most of the past several months. Coolest temperatures anticipated west side of the state, warmest readings along the Alcan border, and especially over the Panhandle has a better chance of seeing temperatures average above normal in the period August 19th through the 23rd. As far as precipitation, well, this would imply ridging over Canada and impacting the Panhandle, so they're going to be warmer and drier. Meanwhile, when you have a southwest or south flow coming in off the Bering or moisture coming up from the North Pacific through the western Gulf, it's going to favor this area, especially along and north of the Yukon River, central Brooks Range with that more of a southerly flow, where you could get some local enhancement of precipitation. So that's why precipitation is anticipated to average above normal across the northern part of the mainland then for August 19th through the 23rd.